So this is Final Fantasy Through the Ages. Final Fantasy Through the Ages is all reprints, but with new art. But the art isn't actually new. It's all repurposed art from existing Final Fantasy things. These are draftable. They're going to be one card in every 3 boosters, so you will see these cards. They have a different rarity, ranging from uncommon, rare, and mythic rare. There are no commons on this. I don't really know how that works, considering that, like, that's what they are. Maybe they take that slot in the booster that they happen to be in. I know that you can have extra rares in the boosters, too. So these are all going to be in Arena. They will all be draftable. But the only ones that are standard legal are ones that are already standard legal. The only ones that are going to be Pioneer legal are the ones that are already Pioneer legal. So these are not cards coming to standard. So if you see Adeline, you're like, oh my god, no, I can't deal with that, not in mono white. Don't worry, you don't have to. Some of these cards are new to Arena, though. They're all reprints, but some of them have never been printed into Arena before. And because many of them are legendary creatures, that's relevant for, you guessed it, Brawl, the format I play. And also, like, Timeless and Historic or whatever. I'm sure somebody plays those. But the people who play it, not as cool as the people who play Brawl, the best. So, we have Adeline, Resplendent Cathar. This is a fantastic card in Limited. It is tooled as the Hero of Light. It scales with the number of creatures you have, and it makes more creatures when you attack. You don't even have to attack in with it. You just need to attack in and you get more creatures. But since she has Vigilance, you oftentimes will get a good attack with her. Very good and limited. How do I feel about the card art? It's one of the better ones. I think most of the Amano card arts are pretty good. Knights of Sandoria. This is Ranger Captain of Eos. I would not put this in every deck that's in white, because you have to make sure you have a creature card of the mana value 1 or less. You can also do the thing where you sacrifice it, stop your opponent from casting non-creature turn or spells this turn. And like as a baseline, it's a 3 mana 3/3. So if I was already in white, I didn't have a 1-drop, I might consider playing it anyway as just a curve filler. Furion Swordmaster is SRAM, Senior Edificer. I actually think this is fantastic in this set. Usually SRAM's kind of not that good and limited, but there are so many equipments in this set, especially the job select equipments, that he'll draw you cards. He's a 2 mana 2/2 dwarf. There's also like one card that cares about dwarves, weirdly. And this will draw you cards. So that's pretty nice and limited. Blessing of the Oracle is Akroma's Will. This is the first of the will cards we're getting in Arena. And sure, I don't like that these are the full arts. Like, at least with this one, the sword is kind of like making the type line look like it has a division. I'm not a fan of the completely frameless for this, especially because it is the kind of weird things. Like, this just looks like a render from a cutscene. It probably is what it is. So Akroma's Will is a 4 mana instant. If you control commander, you get to choose 2 modes. Otherwise, you get to choose 1. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn. Or creatures control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from each color until end of turn. Big combat trick. Kind of nice if you are playing like a mono white commander deck, because you get more stuff if you have your commander. But it's not like one of the strongest will. It's no Jessica's Will. It's no Jessica's Will. How do I feel about it in Limited? You only ever get one side of it in Limited, and it's fine. Oh, I should also mention, in Through the Ages, all these cards are commander staples. There's no other reason for most of these cards to be on here. They're not designed for Limited. They're designed for commander. These are cards that they want people to be playing in commander, I guess. Here's Squall Leonhart, who is actually Danitha Capuchin Paragon. Make sure auras and equipment spells cost 1 less. She also has First Strike, Vigilance, or Lifelink. Or should I say he has it? It's Danitha. Anyway, this is a 2/2. It's got nice abilities, and it's good to, like, stack things onto. But discounting your equipment is only good if you have a bunch of them. So kind of like SRAM, if you have a lot of equipments, the card is good. I would rather run SRAM over this, but the like, First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink can be really fun to put things on. Yeah, these are just cards they wanted to reprint. It's, you know, I bet if we had draft boosters and set boosters separately like we used to, these would not be in draft boosters, because these are not all good cards to have in draft. And some of them are really good and annoying to have in draft, like Noctis Lucius Calum, Kenrith the Returned King. Kenrith is a 5-color card. He only costs white to cast, and his abilities do everything. You can give things haste and trample, you can grow your creatures, gain life, draw cards, or reanimate things. Slash Kickass, thank you for the 27-month resub. Will I put this on YouTube? Maybe. I haven't for a while, but I might put this one on.
Oh no, I think I missed the set review. Does this get put on YouTube? Anyways, yay Amy.
Does the triangle change depending on rarity? If it is uncommon, it is going to be a kind of dull triangle. The triangle indicates its universes beyond. If it is a rare or mythic rare, it will have a foil stamp. That's the foil stamp there. Yeah, you can use this for politics and commander, but it's also just like 5-color value. Yeah, if you're trying to see exactly what rarity it is, you have to look in the bottom left because they did not put a set symbol on here. I don't understand. I want my magic cards to look like magic cards unless I'm buying like a secret lair. It should look like this. I have the unluckiest planeswalker here on a curse of opulence. It should look like that. Garnet, Alexandros the 17th, is Lorraine of the Third Path. So this is the very blinkable Lorraine. She enters, destroys an artifact or enchantment, and can cause symmetrical draw. She's also legendary, and I will say, like, in this limited environment, I think she'll be good. I don't like this blurry-looking render from a cutscene that we got from a game that came out before the PS2. But I like that she's Lorraine. I do think Lorraine is very pickable. This is pickable. Like, it's a good card. There's a lot of artifacts for you to destroy, and there's also a lot of enchantments for you to destroy. I'm talking about the sagas. It is kind of like, look at how crisp the text is, and then you're like, oh, ma'am, your pixels. Oh, don't worry, you haven't seen the worst one. I think Kuja's my least favorite. The Squall was also pretty bad. Especially because, like, they're really putting a focus on the art by making them the complete, like, full art, no frame. It looks like, they look like proxies, and they don't look like good proxies or good altars. They just kind of look like, yeah, like, some of them look good. I think this one looks good. For Minwu, Rebellion Strategist, you got Bengarda Diplomat, who is decent and limited, can draw you some cards, because if your opponent is attacking you with 2 or more, or plays 2 or more spells in a turn, you get to card draw. It's lifelink, so it's lifelink synergy, decent and limited. But, like, some of them, I don't know, man. Like, that looks like a proxy. This is Stroke of Midnight. It destroys a card and makes a 1/1 human creature token. It's nice and limited. It's not a bad card in limited. I've played it in Eldraine because it's a good piece of non-land permanent destruction for white. Are they all rare? Uncommon, rare, or mythic rare? So, like, this is an uncommon. This is a rare. And we'll see if we see a mythic rare soon. Yes, if the card is a render from a cutscene or the game, it is credited as Square Enix. This is the Imperial City of Arcides. So this was promo art in Final Fantasy XII. I think this one actually looks pretty good. This is one of the better ones. I still wish that it weren't full art, but Wall of Omens is when it enters, you draw a card. It is completely neutral and limited. I like it as a curve filler. Arcades, yeah, because it's good in Arcades. Wild Rose Rebellion is counterspell. 2 and a blues. It's 2 blue and then it counters a spell. That's what it does. Is it good and limited? If you're playing blue, I guess it's good and limited. I wouldn't put it in like a 3-color deck that's splashing blue because it is blue, but it's still nice. Definitely 2-color card. Art for this one looks okay. I think a lot of the Amano ones, as I said before, look like a bit better because at least they're like the cool art from the books. This is, unfortunately, High Lord Artificer Urza. This is the Urza that people fear because it is a very annoying card. If you want a mythic rare, this one's mythic rare. Urza is going to be new to Arena. I think this is pretty decent for this limited environment because we have a lot of artifacts. When it enters, you make a construct, meaning it is a token that gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Urza has the ability to tap artifacts to add blue mana. And you can pay 5, shuffle your library, exile the top card, and you can play that card without paying its mana costs, which is generally pretty good. And it gets even better if you can tap your artifacts to help activate the ability. This is going to be in Arena. It is going to be played as a commander, and I just don't like mono blue, and mono blue artifacts already has good cards, so great. There's a lot of it. It is good in Limited, too. I think that, like, in Limited, it is a very playable card, especially because you can tap your equipments without, you know, doing anything to them. They're already equipped. It is Terra on the mech as Urza, I guess. Master Zand, Venser, Shaper Savant. Not new to Arena, I don't think, but very annoying. This is a 4-mana creature with flash. When it enters, you bounce a spell or permanent to its owner's hand. You can use this to rescue your own stuff. You can use this as a way to stop your opponent's spell on the stack, put it back in their hand where they have to, you know, cast it again. Good against those super high mana value cards. And then we have Endwalker, which a lot of people told me they do not like that it is on a Brainstorm. The art is good, but it shouldn't be on Brainstorm. Brainstorm is the thing where you like draw cards and then you put cards back on top of your deck. It's very good card filtering. It's decent and limited. It's even better with spell slinging and all of the self-mill stuff, Travails, etc. It doesn't make any sense for it to be on Brainstorm. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. To the Crystal Tower is a Cryptic Command. Cryptic Command is coming to Arena. This is new. Cryptic Command is really annoying. It's, hey, you want to see some blue stuff? You want to see me do 2 of them? It counters spells, returns permanents to its owner's hand, taps all creatures you're trying to control, or draws a card. And it does 2. You get to choose 2. It's usually counter spell and draw a card. Sometimes somebody will cast something pre-combat, and you counter that spell, and then you tap all their creatures. It's very annoying. And it will go in a lot of blue decks. Vanadiel Adventures. I guess that's Vanadiel. I thought it was Vanadiel, but sure. Lab Maniac. If you would draw from your deck and there's no cards in it, you win the game. Actually, now that I've seen the full set, I think this is better than I thought it would be. There's a lot of ways to draw yourself out in this deck. And I feel like some games might get kind of grindy. So, not something I personally would build around. But I think that somebody's going to get a Lab Maniac when in Limited. This is Ristic Study. I don't know why it's Ristic Study. It's like a sad scene in the game. And there's no studying going on here. Also, I don't like that Ristic Study will be in the draft format. I also just don't like Ristic Study. Yeah, this looks like a bad proxy. It also doesn't make sense to me as like the choice of art and a choice of card. It feels like bad theming. They're studying each other's hearts. Wow. Yeah, Ristic Study is not as bad and limited, but it is still annoying. Which means, like, you shouldn't pick it that highly unless you're playing in paper, in which case it's probably going to be worth a couple bucks. Idia Kramer is Teferi, Mage of Zhalfir. This is a 5-mana human wizard with flash. Gives other creatures flash. And also, opponents can only cast at sorcery speed. So I believe this is new to Arena. This Teferi lets you do some weird stuff by giving all your creatures flash. It's good with Errant and Giada, because it gives everything flash, so you can play all your creatures off the top of your deck. And, it's Teferi, so it's annoying, because it stops your opponent from casting counter spells and casting a lot of things that are just, if they have to be cast within a tiny window, like when this deals combat damage, you can cast the spell. No, you can't, because that counts as instant speed. Teferi, Mage of Zhalfir. Annoying. I know, it's not like a nice render from 8, it's just from the cutscenes. Kefka's Tower is Bolus's Citadel, a very good card in Constructed, not really in Limited. You can try to do it in Limited if you have a ton of life gain, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a cool card, though. I like the art. Again, oh, because it's, yeah, there you go. It's in a mono art. Darkness of Eternity is a dark ritual. Pay 1 to get 3. This is just a way to, like, get mana fast. Use it for stuff. Battle at the Big Bridge. Fatal Push, a decent card Unlimited. If something has left under your control, it deals, or it doesn't deal 4 damage. It kills something that's 4 or less instead of 2 or less. It's usually a decent piece of removal, and in Limited, I feel like it's okay with the sagas because those leave automatically if things die. It's an okay piece of removal. Golbez, clad in darkness, is Sir Conrad the Grim, on a very white background for a very black creature. This seems very good with the amount of mill. It can also mill both players, and like with creatures leaving the graveyard and entering the graveyard, you could kill someone with that. You can hang out with Sephiroth. The Emperor Hell Tyrant is Yawgmoth's Grand Physician. You can pay a life, sacrifice a creature to put -1/-1 counters. That guy that makes a frog, Kina, she would be great to help you get more tokens so you can sacrifice more things. Also, as I mentioned before, the most common creature type in the set is humans, and Yawgmoth has protection from humans. You can also discard a card and proliferate, which you can use to manipulate both yours and your opponent's sagas. Yes, that's right. It's saga manipulation on the bonus sheet. If you want to, you could proliferate your opponent's saga so it goes away sooner. You could proliferate your own saga to get to whatever chapter you want it to get to. I feel like oftentimes it'll be like, I need that gone. I need it gone. I need it gone. Chapter up. These are not standard legal unless they were already standard legal. Deadly Dispute, getting a reprint here. This is a way to sacrifice artifacts or creatures. You get a treasure and 2 cards. It's a very nice way to recycle a creature. There's 2 different active treason effects in this set. I would absolutely take an active treason effect like Zidane or the other one, and then Deadly Dispute. Kidnap that princess and then sacrifice her for money. Because that's a normal thing to do. You can also sacrifice like your equipment or your hero tokens. Does adding a saga counter to your opponent's trigger its effect for that chapter? Yes, but it gives you control over when it happens, which is important because some of them will be like, target creature can't block this turn, and you're like, oh yeah, well that doesn't matter because you're not attacking. Shintoto's Coercion is Diabolic Intent. Sacrifice a creature in order to tutor. There's some decent things to sacrifice in this set. And tutoring is good. I personally don't really go for this that much in Limited, but I'm sure other people will. They'll have some bomb they want to tutor to. The Shadow Lord is Gex Yawgmoth Praetor. Makes it so your creatures will draw you cards as they hit your opponent. You pay 1 life, draw a card. And you can also pay 7 and discard cards to steal from the top of your opponent's deck. But people usually don't do that very often. It's a lot more about the just card draw. We like some card advantage. This is Emmet Selk as Kirik, son of Yawgmoth. Allows you to pay life instead of black mana. You can also pay life for his black mana and his cost. And he gets bigger as you cast black spells. I personally would not play him in Limited. But if you want the alternate art of Emmet Selk like this for your commander decks, cool. It's neat. Varagoth Blood Sky Sire, I do actually really like for Limited. So this is a tutor that requires that you attack with it, but it's also a demon with Death Touch, so attacking with it isn't that hard. You play it, it's got Death Touch, so it's harder to attack into. You attack with it, then you pay 2 mana to tutor for a card and put it on top of your deck. It's a nice card in Limited. Not like busted broken, but like pretty nice. Ancient Copper Dragon is the 6 mana 6/5 dragon. If it hits, you roll a d20 and you get that many treasures. This is very nice because it is a giant flying dragon. It also gets you more mana, but also it's a giant flying dragon. Good for Limited. Also, people play it a lot in Constructed. Gilgamesh, another Gilgamesh, as Godo, Bandit Warlord. So we're getting Godo in Arena. That's new. Godo is a 6-mana 3/3 human barbarian. When he enters, you may search your library for an equipment, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle, and whenever you attack for the first time each turn, you untap it and all samurai you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So that's nice and limited. It's additional combats, it's tutoring for equipment. I'd say overall, a very nice card for this limited set. And at 6 mana, it feels like it's doing what it wants to do. How many samurai are there? There's the other Gilgamesh. I don't know if there's others. Yeah, it'll see play in Brawl. It's a cool commander for Brawl. There's a samurai job select. I think there might be. Kefka Palazzo is Perforos, God of the Forge. Unless I was very, very heavy in red, I wouldn't expect this to become a creature because it does need 5 devotion. But is a ping engine. It's big impact tremors. Whenever a creature enters, it deals 2 damage to your opponent, which adds up really fast, especially if you're brewing out some tokens. You're not liking this completely white background. I know, it feels like it doesn't... Like this looks like it should be a white card, but it's red. This is a red card too, but it's... Feels like maybe it should be Boros because it's red and white. Same with this. The colors are really messed up with this. I really... Even though, like, for some of them, it's better art. Like, the Dark Ritual feels appropriate. Where was that? Because it's very... It's black. It feels kind of like it's evoking something evil. But then some of these other ones are just kind of like from the manual. This one's got like just a gray matte background. The watercolors are on white. I don't know. It feels weird. Oh, here's Van again. Aspiring Sky Pirate as Captain Lannery Storm. Captain Lannery looks like a cheap proxy where they just took art of their favorite boy, Van, I guess. He makes treasures when he attacks, and he's got haste, and he gets bigger as you sacrifice things. Very good unlimited. This is also, by the way, pretty decent unlimited, but only if you're heavy in red or making lots of creatures. That's where I would put it. It is a screenshot. It doesn't look like an actual screenshot. It is. It's a render from either promotional art or a book or the game. That's what all of this bonus sheet is. And speaking of weird choices... Promise fulfilled is light up the stage. It rewards you for bloodying your opponent so you can cast it for its spectacle cost. It looks bad. The flavor's bad. I don't understand. It doesn't seem like it plays that well with either of their cards either because they don't care about casting from exile or anything. It is decent card advantage. I wouldn't go too heavy on it in limited, but like it's just an okay card. The Promise was Violence. Yay. Romance. Sadness. Thrum of the Vestige is a lightning bolt. Okay, it's good and limited. It's a freaking lightning bolt. But it's like a really blue looking lightning bolt. Like kind of like a gray blue lightning bolt. There's an airplane in it. It's near the bottom. Kind of looks like Starscream. There's 2 of them. It says Spectacle. Yeah, the spectacle is violence. By the way, it doesn't explain what spectacle is. I briefly said. Spectacle is if you have dealt damage to your opponent, or if your opponent has lost life on this turn, you can cast it for its spectacle cost as opposed to its actual cost. Is this the first time Bolt will be printed at uncommon in Arena? Yes, so no more using rare wild cards for it. It'll be uncommon. Thank God. Dawn Warrior's Light is Mizzix's Mastery. If you were a spell slinger deck, if you were milling lots of big spells, putting them in your graveyard, you can recast them with this. In limited, I'm not that big of a fan of Mizzix's Mastery, but sometimes people can set up the perfect deck for it. Tons of big spells, recasting them. But it will not pay additional costs like all of the tiered spells. You have to pay those separately. It does cost 8 mana to cast every instant in sorcery, but otherwise it's like this. It's alt art. It's alt art, but it's the base art of these cards for this release. There isn't another art of these cards in this set. And also, I'm not really sure of the flavor of why this is Mizik's Mastery. I guess because it's retelling the tale of the Dawn Warriors. I guess. Cloud Strife is Nihila. Hi, Nihila, the Blade Blossom. 3 mana, 3/2 warrior. That's part of warrior stuff. Whenever a warrior attacks, you have its controller create another warrior that's tapped and attacking. By the way, that does include your opponent's warriors. Just saying it now. For 5 mana, you can untap all attacking creatures. They get trample, lifelink, and haste. And after this phase, there's an additional combat. You can only do this during combat, but you can activate it additional times. This is a cool commander that's coming to Arena. She's cool. What's this? Have I played Final Fantasy 13? I haven't. Saw the summons in 13 are transforming robots. Weird. No, I never played 13. I know very vague things about it, like who Lightning and Snow are, because people told me. They didn't use the Kingdom Hearts cloud. No, but they did use one of the later drawings, I think. Look how cute he is. I think that this card is okay in limited, but I think it's better in as just like a new Brawl commander. Was this from the manual? It may have been in the manual. Yeah. This one's great. I have no fault with this. So Ragavan, believe it or not, very, very good in limited. It's frickin' Ragavan. It's like the best red 1-drop ever printed. It steals. It makes you treasure. And it's got Zidane looking like a little monkey boy on it. Because he is. I wish it weren't in this limited set, because it was annoying the last time we had it too, but usually it's only a menace for a couple turns. Unless it steals something really good on like turn 2. You don't like the art? No, it's kind of like goofy looking. It's silly. It's on like a blue background and it's a red card. It does not feel like it's red. I just think it's kind of like cute and stupid looking. Princess Sarah is Azusa, Lost But Seeking, lets you play additional lands, which is good if you are trying to hit lots of landfalls. It's good with Choco, which lets you play lands from the top of your deck. I would not put this in any deck, though, even decks that care about landfall, because it's kind of like a weird specific, like, you have to make sure you have lots of lands to play. So unless you have the card advantage or other ways to get lands, she runs out of fuel pretty fast. The Cloudsea Djinn is Nyxbloom Ancient. I don't see... Like, Nyxbloom Ancient is like an enchantment tree guy. He's an elemental. This does not feel at all like that. This is like a giant, all-knowing djinn. It's offering you knowledge. Yeah. I don't get it. It's an elemental. It's got trample and it triples your mana. And it's normally like 7 mana. It is a very good card unlimited. If you can get to it, it makes it a lot easier to cast more stuff. And it's a pretty sizable creature itself. But like... it does not feel right, and it doesn't feel green. Falsea Paradise is a carpet of flowers. This is pretty much just for commander. Enchantment at the beginning of each of your main phases. If you haven't added mana with this ability this turn, you may add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. Carpet of Flowers. It's getting a reprint because it's a card that kind of people wanted a reprint for it. And it's a weird one. It's a timeless sideboard card. Yeah, I guess if your opponent's got blue. You think this would have made a better Valgavoth? Yeah, because it looks kind of like a demon. Newfound Adventure. This is so busy. Man Screaming. Man Shooting Arrow. Is this like... you get to pick your class as a new adventurer. It's a Farseek. It does not really feel like a Farseek to me, but at least it has an adventurer on it. Farseek is a fantastic card to be added to Arena. Farseek is pretty much just like get a good land. It gets you a plains or island or swamp or mountain. Puts it into the battlefield tapped and shuffles. Notably, those do not have to be a basic. It can get you a triome. It can get you It just gets you good mana. If you are a deck with green that wants to ramp, this is a good card. Their passive enters in the background. Ah, okay. He's been to lots of lands. Yeah, one of them was Screamland. One of them was Cowboy World. And one was he learned how to shoot up. Finn the Fangbearer is now Vayne Curtis Solidor, who is this, right? Not this. Is that Vayne or is that Vayne? I think the guy behind the chair is Vayne. Weirdly. Vayne is the call. Yeah, so it feels really weird to have the guy who is the subject of the card not be the subject of the art. Anyway, it's Finn. Finn is pretty decent and limited. We already have him in Arena. I don't really like this art for it. Not even a focus of his own card. Yeah. He's the main villain of the game, and this is his only card. Did they not have better art of him? Vayne is actually the chair. Actually, Vayne is the airship. The kid is a 1/1 Death Toucher. This is the only pixel art, I believe, in the entire set. This is Nature's Claim. Destroy target artifact or enchantment and this controller gains for a life. I would be hesitant to play this in limited, even though we do want artifact and enchantment removal. The 4 life gain is like, ooh, in limited, that's a considerable amount. But you might want it anyway, because of all the sagas. So yeah, it's a sideboard kind of card. It is a good card to now have in Arena for sideboards. It is new to Arena. This is Primeval Titan. It is incredibly good and limited, and you should pick it if you're in green. It gets you lands. Any lands. Does it when it enters in, when it attacks, and it's a 6/6 with trample, so it's huge. Shadowbringers. Yet another expansion. It's Dovin's Veto. Again, I don't understand. Why was that one Brainstorm? Why is this Dovin's Veto? Am I missing something? I don't know. It's the name of the expansion, right? Dovin's Veto is an uncounterable counterspell for non-creatures. I would not run it in limited unless I was like really in blue-white and really wanted to counterspell. It can hit like equipments and stuff, but it can't hit creatures, and usually creatures are what you want to focus on in limited. Benedicta Harmon is Ishai Ojutai Dragon Speaker. This is a card with partner. There's a bunch of partner commanders that are in here. This one was technically already in Arena because it was on the Bloomborough special guests. Yeah. It's a bird, so like it's got Chocobo synergy in the set. Because it's a bird and a couple cards care about birds. It's okay. It gets bigger when your opponents cast spells. It's not as good as it would be in Commander, because you only have one opponent. Bird up. It's Yuffie. Except actually, it's Yuriko. Ew! I don't like Yuriko. I don't want to play against her. Yuriko in Limited is okay. She pretty much hits once. Maybe gets you like a repeat of some Enter the Battlefield effect. She's not that good. She's not that impressive. But she can hit like a big spell and drain a bunch of life if you get lucky. In Constructed, Yuriko is really, really, really annoying. You play her with ninjas. She has Commander Ninjutsu, which means that she always costs 2 mana from the command zone if you are cheating her into play by using an unblockable creature. And people, by the way, I'm just going to give you a pro tip. Once Yuriko comes in and hits you once, you don't want to kill her. You just want to find ways to block her and the other ninjas. That's... If you kill her, she comes back again. Most of the unblockable stuff is not ninjas themselves. Yeah, so she'll see Brawl play. She's annoying. There's another card that cheats commander cost, I believe, down here too. We're also getting Vile Smasher. Vile Smasher also has partner, which means that you can pair him up with something like this. Have it as half of your commander. Vile Smasher is cool. Vile Smasher is a 2/3 goblin. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, you choose an opponent at random, which in 1v1 is just your opponent. And the spell's mana value is dealt to them or a planeswalker they control as damage. It's just lots of great more value out of casting spells. I would play this in Limited, and I would play it in Constructed. I think it's a cool commander. I wish it didn't have Partner, because honestly, I think it's fine on its own. There are actual goblins in Final Fantasy. Why is this Clive? Because people want to see their Blorbos on cards. Like Vile Smasher, who I believe is currently on Cowboy World. This is Timna. Yeah, we're getting like all the CDH partners. Yay. It's Timna. Am I planning on playing any games today? Maybe not Magic, but I am planning on playing another game that has let's say, a related name later. It's a 3-mana 2/2 human cleric. It's got lifelink. At the beginning of each of your post-combat main phases, you may pay X, where X is the number of opponents who were dealt combat damage this turn in 1v1. That's going to be just 1, if 1, to draw X cards. This is not that good in 1v1, but it still gives you access to the colors, which is why it's strong. Barnabas Thermer is Crumb, Ludovic's Opus. This is a zombie horror that I guess actually Barnabas here. Yeah, all right. This is zombie horror. No, he's not. 5 mana, 4/4, flying and haste. When an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card as partner. It's Bart's again. Winota, Joiner of Forces. Winota in Limited is very good. Winota in Brawl is actually nerfed. Because they wanted her to only trigger once a turn, because otherwise she's kind of busted broken. So in this set, there are a lot of non-creatures. All the hero tokens are non-creatures. And there's a bunch of humans. It's the most common creature type. So Winota, I think, is good in Limited. I think it's good in Limited. It can cheat creatures into play. And it also, like, you can trigger it lots of times. What is this art? It's like in a mono scribble. So it's really should not be blown up on this, but that's what it is. This is Hugo Kupka. Sorry, it's Bruce Tarl, Boris Herder, another partner card. Bruce Tarl is a human ally. It's in Boros colors. It's a 3/3, and whenever it enters or attacks, target creature you control gets double strike and lifelink until end of turn. You can target itself with this ability. In what world is Hugo not a green card? I guess this one, for the Final Fantasy 16 players, I don't know Final Fantasy 16. I'll have to take your word on what Hugo is or is not. Winota's back. Not in standard. Winota is not standard legal. This is just a new art for it. Seymour, straight from the cutscenes, baby. Except he's Kinnan. So, like, Seymour is a summoner. So he does summon things. But he's not like a little fat kid who rides monsters around. How does Kinnan feel in this Limited? He feels okay. He's like a mana sink. But there's not that many creatures that tap for mana and other non-land permanents that will tap for mana. I think Bruce Tarl is pretty good for Limited. This is okay, I think, in this Limited set. Not amazing. It can get you repeatable value. That's the big thing. Titus is actually a merfolk wizard now. He's a mermaid. He always has been, because he like swims around in water to play Blitzball. He's Thrazios Triton hero. That is a 2-mana 1/3 merfolk wizard. You can pay for scry 1 revealed top card of your library. If it's a land, you put it into the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, draw a card. Oh, wow! It's Gretchen with partner. Put it in the trash. I'm annoyed because I'm going to have to see this in Brawl. And I'm annoyed that it's Titus. Gretchen. People know how I feel about Gretchen. Same way I feel about Thrazios. Thrazios. Yeah, all these cheap commanders. When you have partner, you have 2 different commanders. I should also mention, in Dual Commander, the format most similar to Brawl, you are allowed to have partner commanders. However, you're only allowed to cast one of them in a game. Whichever one you cast first in a game is one that you have chosen to cast. The other one, you can never cast it. It's just there. It adds to your color identity, but you can never cast it. I really wish they would implement that for Brawl, but I don't think they will, because I don't like having 2 free cards. The Final Fantasy collab's getting you into this game. Awesome. Welcome to Magic the Gathering. It's an awesome game. And we're getting a lot of weird cards with weird art. That's what I'm going over right now. Yeah, as far as like how is this unlimited, it is fine unlimited. It is a 1/3 early. It can block for you, and it has a good mana sync ability. Inala, Archmage Ritualist, has a blurry picture of Kuja on it. This is a Grixis creature with Eminence. Eminence means nothing in limited. It just means it has this ability. So Eminence means this ability exists even if Kuja's in the command zone. But there's no command zone in limited, so actually it's this ability exists when it's in play. So there you go. This is a Grixis wizard. It's a 4/5. Whenever another non-token wizard you control enters, there are both tokens and non-token wizards in this set. If Kuja is on the battlefield, you can pay 1 to clone the wizard. It gets haste and then it gets sacrificed at the end of the turn. You can also tap wizards to make your opponent lose life. And because of all the wizard tokens in the set, the black mages, I think this is actually a really, really good card in limited. I would probably pick it decently highly. And as far as it goes as a Brawl commander, yes, I'm very annoyed that it exists. Wizard stuff. This is Orphan Cocoon Falsy. I think this art looks really cool. It's Muldrotha the Gravetide, which sure it is. It kind of looks like a gravestone. I can tell it's 13 because it mentions cocoons again. This is Muldrotha. Very good and limited. Lets you replay cards from your graveyard. You should pick this pretty highly, and it can define your colors. It's very nice. Lets you replay all those equipment from your graveyard. Any permanent. It will reduce the count of permanents in your graveyard, though, for the black-green cards that care about that. Just something worth mentioning, but it's really nice. It's a way to get good recursion. It's the final boss in 13. It's a good card, too. Ishin, to Heavens as One, or Lightning Lone Commando. I think this one actually looks kind of good. But maybe it's just because like I'm a simp. I understand. Ishin doubles your on-attack triggers. There are a few on-attack triggers in this set, but not a ton of on-attack triggers in this set. Some of them are attached to equipment, some of them are attached to creatures, but for the most part, they're spread around all the colors, and it isn't like a huge thing. You don't really want to focus on building that, because I don't think that it's a great way to do it. It is still a well-statted card, but it's in 3 colors, which makes it kind of hard to cast if you don't have good fixing. You're like, I want to buy some Louis Vuitton, because she's a model for Louis Vuitton. This is Sephiroth, the Savior. Actually, it attracts a Grand Unifier, who is a bomb and limited. One of the hardest cards to beat, even with removal. This is a 7-mana 7/7 with Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Yup, if that doesn't scare you, the rest of it should. When it enters, look at the top 10 cards of your deck for each card type. You can put a card type from among the revealed cards into your hand. The rest go on the bottom of your library. So you'll look at the top 10. And in this set, you'll probably have an enchantment creature. So that's your enchantment. And you'll probably have an equipment that makes a creature. So that's an equipment. And a creature. Okay, and there's a creature. And a land. Maybe even an instant or a sorcery. Whoa, that's a lot of card advantage. Put those into your hand, and you still have the 7/7 with Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink. That's a good card. It's a really good card. It's scary. I don't like it. Even if you kill it, they still get that stuff in their hand. This is Joda. I would honestly try to go 5 colors if I got Joda, but that's because I'm a crazy person who loves doing 5-color legendary decks. Joda's cracked, by the way. Joda is one of the most annoying commanders because not only does he make all your creatures bigger, he also gets you free stuff. He is a double whammy in the worst way because all your legends, remember how the set is like all legends? All your legends get +X+X. And then the X goes up whenever you cast the legend. And then it goes up some more. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot. We also have Traxos, Scourge of Krug. not that good, but still pretty fun. Whenever you cast a historic spell, which does include all of the legendaries, it untaps. It's kind of fun for limited if you're playing tons and tons of legendaries, and also artifacts are also historic, and so are sagas. So this is better in this set than I think even its original set, which was Dominaria. Traxos. It's cool and it's big. It's a 4-mana 7/7, but it enters tapped. You have to untap it using casting things. We have Chromatic Lantern. I do like Chromatic Lantern. If you are trying to go more than 2 colors, it lets all your lands tap for mana of any color, and it also taps for mana of any color. I would not like pick it super highly. I'm just saying it helps enable 5-color silly stuff. We also have Smuggler's Copter. Hey, remember how you guys were like, oh, there's a fixed Smuggler's Copter in this set. You know what's also in this set? Actual Smuggler's Copter, which is an incredibly good and annoying card. It's very great early, gets damage in, it helps you filter your cards, and it fills up your graveyard with relevant pieces. You could pick this in any deck in Limited, and it will pretty much always be good. Strixhaven Stadium. I would probably skip this. It gives you a funny alt-win con if you're attacking with lots of little things, though. It's Sports Ball! Go Sports! If you win the Sports Ball game, then you win the actual game. It's also a mana rock. Hey, Darkstar, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Somebody's talking about picking up the starter kit. I think if you are new to Magic and you have like a roommate or somebody you want to play with, this is a pretty good product to pick up since it has like 2 decks that you can play against each other. I think that the Commander precons will go down in price. I can't guarantee that, but right now they're selling for a lot above MSRP, and I think part of that is there's just a limited supply, but they will be reprinted. So hopefully if you are like, I really like the Final Fantasy X deck, you can hopefully pick it up for not like $100. I don't even know how much it's selling for. Let me check. Final Fantasy Commander deck display. Yeah, they're like ranging from like 75 to like 130, it looks like, which that's frustrating. Yeah, that's frustrating. I do think that the prices will settle down a little bit. At least I really hope they do. Is there any proliferate in the set? Yes, Yawgmoth is in the set, the one that lets you discard, pay double black, and then proliferate. Sort of. He's on the bonus sheet. Balam Garden. Okay, you probably don't need me to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this now. In Limited, you don't have a commander. This is not a card you should play. You don't have a commander. In Brawl, this is going to be a new way for you to move your commander out of the command zone into your hand so you can cast it without paying the command tax. Okay, don't play it. Don't play it. You don't have a commander. If you happen to be doing a boxing league with this set, which is where you build a commander deck using an entire booster box, awesome! You could use it for that. Don't put it in your deck if you're playing a draft, please. And finally, we've seen all the cards. These are all just cards from the commander set. These are the ones that come into precons. They're not in boosters unless it's a collector's booster, which you don't usually draft in. So hopefully that helps. Oh, I'm sad this is not legendary. I wish this could be my commander. So yes, there are so many cards in this set. A lot of them are really cool and really powerful. And my opinion of this set is it's a commander set. And you could do a commander draft with it. You totally could. You 100% could. Except it's in standard. It's a standard set. It's a standard set, not these. It's a standard set. So weird. I think people are going to really like it, though. It's definitely got a lot of people very interested in the set. And I'm very interested in the set because I have an unhealthy attachment to multiple Final Fantasy games because I played them when I was an impressionable tween, renting one of them from Blockbuster. That was Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy VII, I bought the game. I saved up my allowance for so long, and I had to beg my brother to let me to let me use the PlayStation and be like, bro, can I use the PlayStation? I want to play Final Fantasy. It looks so cool. Because I thought everybody in the box art looked really neat, and everybody was telling me about it. And thus, Amy's spiral into nerddom began. That's not true. I was already a nerd. I blamed DBZ. I blamed Saturday morning cartoons, which was Dragon Ball Z for me. And I guess Sailor Moon. And Pokemon. All the animes. They were there. Yu-Gi-Oh! Listen, I don't know what's going on with Yu-Gi-Oh! But it plagues me to this day. It plagues me to this day. Thanks for watching my set review. I hope you liked the set.